All right, this is also day 2 of the Youngstown Wing Festival. Wings and weather both going to be hot at the Cavelli Center. That is where Damon Maloney is. Damon, we saw some storms. Yes, there you are. I was just going to say, seeing that line of storms on the radar, how are you guys faring down there?
Well, you know, Teresa, we are underneath a tent because, as you can see, it is downpouring raining right now. The storm obviously making its way through the Youngstown area. Jim is panning over where you see the rain. It's coming down pretty hard right now, so the heat concerns have gone away at this point. But nonetheless, Wingfest is still going on. First time event here in Youngstown. I'm standing here with Eddie Earhart. He is with the Eddie's Smoking Pit Barbecue. You guys are out here for the fun today. Just talk about it. You guys were concerned about the heat, but now we got some other concerns.
Yeah, the heat was definitely a factor earlier, but right now it's just a matter of staying dry. But good thing is all our fires are kept in a closed area, so we don't have to worry about it getting wet or going out or anything like that.
And talk about it. This is a wing fest. You guys are offering wings and also ribs. Talk about that quickly.
All right. Yeah, we got all kinds of wings out here, all the different vendors. We got our wings aren't in a deep fryer. They're on a wood fire over here, and plus we're cooking ribs.
All right, Eddie, thank you so much for talking to us. Teresa, we're going to send things back to you. Obviously, you can see we're trying to hold the tent down here. A serious storm coming through. Back to you.
Damon, go take some shelter there. Good evening. What began as a hot and humid day just turned into a wild and windy one for some.
Let's get right to the video. Crews were just beginning to get ready to open for Wingfest in downtown Youngstown when the skies opened and the wind started howling. The main tent at the fest collapsed with people underneath it. Now Wingfest is canceled for tonight. Our Damon Maloney's there and he'll bring us a report in just a few minutes. Well, Damon Maloney was at the Wingfest when the tent started blowing over within the last hour.
That's right. It started off fine. All of a sudden, that system moved in. He joins us live by phone with an update. How do things look down there at this point, Damon?
Well, Teresa, things have calmed down a little bit, but right now we still have Youngstown police and fire here on the scene assessing the damage that took place. You, along with our viewers at 5 o'clock, were the first to see the heavy downpour and eventually that wind that kind of swept through the downtown Youngstown area. When that happened, there was a number of tents that the vendors are using, and there's also 2 main tents where a lot of people were eating food and socializing. Those picked up with the wind and eventually collapsed, creating a dangerous situation for everybody that was underneath those tents. The Cavelli staff moved in quickly to evacuate everybody from underneath those tents, and they moved them inside the Cavelli Center to a safer spot, and the wind and rain continued for several more minutes. At this point, we have talked to Cavelli staff. Kelsey Rupert, the director of marketing, says that at least 5 people were injured. We know that one of those people injured was a Cavelli staff member with a head injury. The extent of the other injuries at this point is unknown. Now, in addition to rescuing the people that were trapped under these tents for a couple of minutes, they were dealing with the electrical power being on and also propane tanks because of the food that was being cooked out here. So the emergency workers worked quickly to cut off those utilities. Well, the very latest for you tonight at 11. Teresa and Dave, back to you.
The Youngstown Wingfest resumes at noon tomorrow. It had to be shut down tonight when strong weather rolled through the city. Now, Damon Maloney was in the middle of a live report when that happened, and he joins us to show us what happened.
Yeah, Dave, we were in the middle of our 5 o'clock broadcast. Calm skies turned into a few sprinkles and then a burst of wind and heavy rains. I was in the middle of that live shot when the tent started collapsing and people started running. As a hot and muggy Friday night rolled through, so did a line of severe thunderstorms.
And then next thing we know, I said, no, it's not going to hold. It's not going to hold. This tent is not going to hold.
Joanne Smallwood inside one of the collapsed tent areas when wind and rain swept through the Cavelli Center grounds. She remembers clenching onto a friend and then having several other people clench onto them.
So we just started running. It was just so scary.
Our cameras rolling as tents, chairs, boxes, even music equipment started scattering. Several people trapped under giant tents. This man in a yellow shirt, a Cavelli Center worker, knocked to the ground by a falling tent pole. Ambulances and fire trucks rushed to the scene. At least 5 people sent to the hospital to be treated for injuries. Was it pretty chaotic under there with people?
Very. People trying to run, they were screaming, run to the building, run to the building. So we all ran towards the Cavelli Center to get inside for safety.
During the chaos, Cavelli Center staff kicked into rescue mode along with on-site Youngstown police officers. Emergency crews wasting no time, first helping people in need.
NPR, you guys all accounted for?
They then worked to cut electricity and propane tanks used by the food vendors. While many sprinted into the building, I ended up helping this woman into a trailer owned by Eddie's Smokin' Pit Barbecue, on hand for the food and live entertainment. I had just wrapped up an interview with Eddie Earhart when the storm kicked up.
The tents, they definitely wanted to take us for a ride, but we're hanging on.
Less than a mile from Wingfest at the Mount Carmel Italian Festival, the fun untouched by the weather that shifted hot weather concerns into storm damage and rescues for a lot of people across the valley.
Yeah, I'm going to class over here.
As we mentioned at the beginning of the story, Wingfest will resume tomorrow starting at noon with a scheduled car show and a limited number of the food vendors. The main stage opens at 5 o'clock with local artists and the main acts, Michael Stanley and the Resonators. Now, tickets to tonight's Clark's performance that were purchased in advance will be refunded at the point of purchase. So, Dave, certainly a chaotic day.
You'll remember it for a long time, Damon. Thanks
Certainly
very much tonight.